On the paper talk today, we'll be looking at Rasmus Hojlund. Is he coming to Manchester United or not? What is going on? We've been waiting for this one for, all right, it's not been that long, but it seemed like months. We could have a little bit of movement there, so we'll be getting into that one. Also, who could be heading out? What's happening with Scott McTominay? What's happening with Fred? Could Fred be going to Galatasaray? Let's check it out. Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the paper talk. As you can see, I'm not outside Old Trafford. I'm not in the studio. I'm in San Diego. We're following United on the tour. So make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. We want to get to 800,000 subscribers. Your support, we can do it. And you don't want to miss any of the content we'll be putting out as we follow the Reds on the tour. We've been in the press conferences. We've been following the post-match reaction. We've been speaking to players. We've been putting questions to the manager. We've had you covered on the US tour, so make sure you are hitting subscribe and show your support for the channel. We do appreciate it. Loads of stories to get through. Obviously, the big one on everyone's lips is Rasmus Hojlund. What is going on there? Manchester United want him. He wants to come to Manchester United. Atalanta are prepared to sell him. It just seems like we need to see a little bit of movement on the price. Now, Fabrizio Romano did a tweet where he said, Rasmus Hojlund wants Man United. I told you. It's very clear since day one of negotiations, and these final days of the week could be crucial. Hashtag MUFC. PSG bid hasn't changed Hojlund's mind at this stage. Priority Man United. Club set for new round of talks with Atlanta up to Man United. Now, there was stories the other day that PSG were in for him. They wanted to bring him in. It looks like there could be some sort of merry-go-round going on with PSG. What's going to happen with Kylian Mbappe? What's going to happen with them needing another striker? Rasmus Hojlund on their radar. They want him. They've obviously got the money to get him, but he would prefer to go to Manchester United. Atalanta are willing to sell him. Atalanta wanting around anything between 70 and 80 million, depending on who you read, for their young striker. United willing to pay closer to 60 million. It looks like it's going to have to be add-ons that get this deal over the line, like we saw with Mason Mount and like we saw with Andre Onana. Maybe Manchester United could go to 60 million plus 5 million in add-ons, something like that. That might be enough. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But Alfredo Padula, who's been all over this story since day one, he tweeted recently, hashtag Hojlund, hashtag Atalanta is waiting for the official bid between tomorrow and Saturday of 70 million plus €5, that is, plus 5 million bonus, it's not even a word, bonus. So far, no official PSG bid, not even from 50. Hojlund, for now, remains in the squad for Saturday's friendly in Bournemouth. So obviously, he's still part of the Atalanta squad, but there is a feeling that it's inevitable he's going to move most likely to Manchester United. Everyone we spoke to, all the journalists I've been speaking to out here, we recently spoke to Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic. We've already spoke to Jamie Jackson. We spoke to Dharmesh Seth from Sky. There is a real feeling that Hojlund to United could happen. It could happen soon. We'll just have to wait and see when that bid comes in, whether it is going to be enough with the initial bid, whether there's going to have to be some negotiations, like we saw with Mason Mount, like we saw with Andre Onana. The two signings that Manchester United have made this summer have been very similar in the sort of the feel and the makeup to this one. United wanting to pay closer to sort of 40 or 50 million in the case of Mason Mount. Chelsea wanting closer to 70. The meeting somewhere in the middle, 60 million plus add-ons. Andre Onana in Inter Milan, a similar-ish scenario. United willing to pay 35, 40 million. Inter wanting somewhere between 50 and 60. And again, it's add-ons that get the deal over the line. And you're beginning to think, from the amount of reports we've had concerning Rasmus Hojlund's move to Manchester United, that's what's going to happen. It's going to have to take a bid and some add-ons. And United are probably going to have to get closer to the 60, 70 million that Atalanta want. But I don't see United going all the way up to 70 million quid. Certainly not that much. I think it's probably going to be around maybe 60 million euros. I don't know. That's just the feeling I'm getting. Get involved in the chat in the comments and let us know what you think. Do you think Rasmus Hojlund is the right man for Manchester United? It's all gone a bit quiet on the Harry Kane front, and it's still an option for Manchester United. Is it likely to happen? I don't think so. I don't see enough there to think Harry Kane coming to United is on, but you never know. Hojlund to United definitely looks like it could be one that's moving forward. Let us know whether you think that is enough. We saw it against Real Madrid, how much United are lacking a striker. The manager even alluded to that, didn't he? He admitted that, you know, they need a striker. He said it several times recently that United need a striker. He's not making any sort of secret of that. Anyone who watches United can see we are short up front. He's tried Jadon Sancho in the 9. We know that Marcus Rashford can play down the middle, but neither of those are out-and-out strikers. Anthony Martial, who it looks like could be staying at Manchester United, he's got fitness issues. So you need to bring someone in, and Hojlund certainly would seem to fit the bill. Just a little bit on the ownership as well. There's a story here in the on the BBC website. Sorry, it says Man United takeover. Fan protest group fears 18-month process. Says here, the Manchester United fans group leading the current protest against the Glazer family's ownership of the club says any continued long-term involvement by the Americans at Old Trafford will leave a bitter taste. This is from the 1958. We spoke to Steve from the 1958 not long ago at the protest outside the Megastore. They're talking about how if the Glazers are going to stay on at Manchester United, it's going to leave a bitter taste. It's not really anything new, that, is it? We all know that. I get why they're saying it. They've obviously got to give us their opinion. But we've all said if the Glazers staying on would leave a little bit of a bitter taste. The problem we've got at the moment is we don't even know if the Glazers are definitely going to sell. This sale is dragging on. And every time it goes on and on and on, or every day it keeps going on, you wonder, don't you, are they going to sell? What is going on? Is there any sort of inclination here that they might be thinking, do you know what, maybe we just hang on to this club for a little bit longer? I hope not, obviously, but we'll have to wait and see. But the 1958 have obviously been very vocal and very active in their protests against the Glazer family, and they're just letting everyone know what their thoughts are around the idea of the Glazers staying on. There was talk one there that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bids, or one of his bids, would involve them still staying on, not having a say in the club, but having some sort of ownership. Now, them not having a say in the club but still staying on is probably better. Well, it is better than them staying on and having a say in the club, but it's still not ideal. I mean, we'd all like to see him go. However, if it means they're not pulling the strings, then I'd settle for that over them staying here and pulling the strings, because they've been a complete disaster for Manchester United. But who knows what's going to happen? Obviously, Sheikh Jassim is, as far as we can tell, in pole position. You've got the Sir Jim Ratcliffe bid. It's just all gone a little bit quiet. Maybe we'll find something out once this tour's ended. Who knows? Just on a couple of outgoings as well. Man United transfer plans enter crunch phase as club chief lands in UK for Fred negotiations. This is talk about Fred going to Galatasaray. Apparently, Galatasaray Vice President Erden Timur is understood to have flown to England on Wednesday. This is in the Express. So it looks like Fred could be going to Galatasaray. We know he was linked with a move to Fulham. Fulham very much interested in the Brazilian. United wanted 20 million quid for him. I don't think Fulham were willing to go that much for a 30-year-old who's only got 1 year left on his contract. But maybe Galatasaray will be interesting to see what happens there. I like Fred, but you look at the midfield options we've got. Maybe Kobe Mainoo is going to play a little bit more this season. Probably with Mason Mount coming in, you might look at it and go, we've got one too many there. We've got some that are a little bit surplus to requirements. Fred could end up out the door. Another one who has been linked with a move as well is Scott McTominay. And I think it was our mate Dharmesh Seth who was talking recently on Sky and said Scott McTominay, James Ward-Prowse and Conor Gallagher are primary targets for midfield, with a view to bringing in two for West Ham. So it looks like West Ham are still interested in Scott McTominay. We know he was linked with a move to Newcastle not long ago as well. Be interesting to see what happens on that. There's a feeling that maybe both Fred and McTominay won't go. So if Fred goes to Galatasaray, maybe that does shut the door on the potential move for Scott McTominay going to West Ham. Maybe it's vice versa. Maybe if Scott McTominay goes to West Ham, Eric Ten Hag looks at it and goes, you know what, I don't need to sell Fred. Fred's obviously not on the tour. We were told that was because of a personal issue, but we'll have to wait and see, because it wouldn't surprise me if it is linked to those talks and that was just the club saying, you know, a bit of kidology or a bit of smoke screen there. Just on the Amrabat front as well, Amrabat, there's not been a lot of movement there. We know that there was talk of him coming to Manchester United. Look, the club obviously interested in him keen on a move. The latest news we had that I saw was sort of an update was that he was keen. A few outlets reporting that, TalkSport and a few others had it, that he was keen on a move to Old Trafford. But as of yet, it doesn't look like there's a solid bid in there from Manchester United. The player wants to come to United. Fiorentina are willing to sell him, but United need to bid for him. It's just like the Hojlund scenario. We haven't had solid bids yet, so until that happens, it's difficult to say whether you're going to see Sofian Amrabat in a Manchester United shirt anytime soon. He is obviously someone that Eric Ten Hag does admire. So, as always, we will keep you posted. We're going to be covering the final leg of the US tour. We're going to be covering it in Vegas. Dortmund are playing Manchester United, so looking forward to that one. Make sure, like I said earlier, you are hitting like, share and subscribe. Go and check out all the other videos we've got on the channel as well. We've got loads of interviews with players, journalists, all that good stuff as well. So you don't want to miss out on that. We want to get to 800,000 subscribers. With your support, we can do it. This has been the Paper Talk from a pretty warm San Diego. Thanks for watching.